Hello everyone, this is Romy Christoph and today I will explain Lab 11 and we will talk about the desert landforms. This week you have also my PowerPoint presentation. You can find pictures there of the landforms. You can find also instructions. You can find your pages with instructions. So the PowerPoint will be very helpful. But I will try also in this video to give you some directions. And here is the Furnace Creek. This is Death Valley in California, where we're going to talk about the desert landforms. So in my PowerPoint presentation, you can see a picture of the mountain range, which is presented right here. You see here the contour lines. They are very close together, very crowded. And this is an indication of steep slope. So here we're gonna do some calculations. We will find the maximum, minimums. Then the next landform is the Alluvial Fan. The Alluvial Fan is eroded material and is a depositional form which was created by the rivers when the river is leaving a canyon, like here you see the Trail Canyon. The velocity is decreasing and the river starts depositing everything what is in the water, all the eroded material. So these fans, they have this conical shape forms. You can see the contour lines here, how they look like. And finally, the third landform, which is presented here, is the playa. The playa is a very flat land. This is the lowest part of the Death Valley. And you can see even negative numbers there. So this means that the elevation is below the sea level. So you're going to work with negative numbers. And let me show you here what you have to do on your first page. So here you have 3 sections of the page. On the very top, it says Furnace Creek, California, and the scale, which is 1 to 62,500, which means that 1 inch on the map will represent 1 mile on the ground. So that's why when you measure distances or the run, you have to use a ruler to find the distance between the maximum and the minimum point. The contour interval is 80 feet. And this is the difference between the elevation of 2 contour lines next to each other. But then we have also index contour here, which is 80 feet times 5. Remember the index contour, these are the bolded lines. And in this map, where the contour lines are very close together, it's easier to use the bolded lines. So the difference between 2 bolded lines next to each other will be 8 times 5, which is 400. Remember that 80 feet is the contour interval and every 5th line is bolded. So that's why we multiply by 5 to find the difference between 2 bolded lines. And we're going to use them to find the elevations. As you see here on this page, what you have to do is to find the maximum, the minimum elevation, the rise. Here there is some information how to find everything. You see the first landform is the mountain range, for example. So your maximum elevation is the contour crosses on the R of range. And there are some instructions where you can find the minimum elevation. And then it says here how to find the rise, maximum minus minimum. Then you have to find the slope. You see here the slope, which is the rise in feet divided by the run in miles, and the slope will be in feet per miles. And then there is also a run. The run is the distance between the maximum and the minimum point on this mountain range, this landform. So as you see here, there are 3 sections, and they represent 3 different landforms. So the first one is about the mountain range, the second one is about the alluvial fan, and the third one is about the playa. So let's go now to the map, and let me show you there where to find all these elevations. So we're gonna start with the first landform, which is the mountain range. If you open my PowerPoint presentation, you will see that these landforms are labeled there. And also you will find where the maximum and minimum elevation for each of those landforms are. So they are labeled everywhere. So that's why the PowerPoint will be very helpful. Find this map and find your page where you have to put the information. But let me show you one more time. So you're going to use only the lines which have elevation. Don't use single numbers like spot heights or benchmarks here where the mountain ranges or the alluvial fan. It says here in your page where you have to put the information that your maximum elevation is the contour that crosses on the R of range. Do you see here the word range? Yes. So R is stepping on this contour, and you see there is a number here. You can see it. If you don't see numbers, so you can take one of those lines which have numbers with elevation, and this way the elevation will increase because you're going toward the top of the mountain. For each line, you have to add 400. Remember, this is the index contour. This is the value of each bolded line. So you have to find the elevation of R, and this is your maximum for this landform. It says in your second page that go east to 800 feet contour as your minimum elevation. So here is the range, here is the 800 contour. This is here, this is the bumpy line here. So you have to go horizontally and you mark on this line your minimum. And then when you have to find the rise, you subtract the two elevations. When you have to find the run, actually you measure with the ruler the distance horizontally between R and this line, so here where your minimum is. So make sure that you move horizontally because otherwise you can have very different numbers. The distance is changing. So this is the first landform. The second landform is the Alluvial Fan, and this is the Trail Canyon here, and this landform. It says there that you have to use the 1600 contour as a maximum elevation. And here is the 1600. You can see it, I bolded it for you. It's right above the word canyon. So you can use above Y, the letter Y, you can use the dot as maximum elevation. And it says here that you have to go to the sea level, which is 0 elevation. So from here you go this way. You see this line? It says sea level here. So this will be your minimum elevation, 0. So 1600 minus 0 is 1600, right? So this is your rise. And this will be your distance here, or the run, when you have to measure the distance. So this is the second landform. And the third one is the playa. Remember on your page, the third section. And it says there to start with benchmark, which is a negative 260. It's right here. You see negative 260. This will be your maximum because we're talking about negative numbers. Be careful here. And when you do the calculation also. And the minimum will be the lowest point on the map. This is a benchmark here, negative 276. So these two numbers are your maximums and minimums. You have to find the rise, subtracting them. Remember, minus minus is plus. And also, this is your distance here between the maximum and the minimum points. You measure the run with the ruler. And the slope, it says how to measure the slope. One more time, let's go to this page. You can see that everything is the same for the three landforms. You have to find the maximum, minimum, the rise, the run, and the slope. So once you finish, you have to make a profile of these three landforms starting from A to B. You see where A is? It's right here, and here is B. Now you put your paper along this AB line and you start marking some of those lines which are crossing your paper with their elevation. You see there are many, especially here around A, it's very crowded there. So you will choose some of those lines, maybe not all of them, but some of them just to create a real shape of the landform. And here is the scale where you have to transfer this information. You see the scale, I created an example for you. You see here on the scale you have the elevation from A to B, and to start from A, which is the mountain range, and you see you go lower and lower using the contour lines there, and you have to label here the landforms. You see mountain range, alluvial fan, and the playa. Just follow the instructions here. You already know how to make a profile, and this will be your profile. Thank you.